What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the Charles Schwab Challenge 2023 DraftKings DFS preview show. DB here, Pat Perry, coming off the electric PGA Championship. We're going to talk a little bit about the PGA, some storylines coming out of it, and then we're going to obviously get to our picks, our fades, our sleepers, some chalk, and where all that's going to go for the Charles Schwab Challenge. Pat, I'm still cooking on this Tito's here. We just got done recording the betting show. You still got
Little,
the hazy there?
little hazy IPA. It's almost done.
God, I love a hazy IPA.
It's so good. Creature Comforts is the name of the
Athens, baby. Athens.
Athens, baby. So
Go Dogs. Let's talk about the PGA. First of all, it was a very, very profitable week for the Nut Hut in terms of a lot of bets. I won 5 units in my exclusive head-to-heads and top 20s. Joe Idoni continues to crush. He's 16 units in his exclusive bets on in our Discord. We had a good sweat there. I had Hovland on the card. You had Connors on the outright card. We had our boy, Vince Margiotta, the Italian Job, did it with the very free 4-minute read article that goes up every Tuesday or Wednesday on tourjunkies.com called Let's Go Juicing, where he juiced Brooks Koepka's odds up to 39-1 by parlaying it with some dude on the Celtics. And that hit. It was amazing. Everybody was winning money hand over fist. It was beautiful. If you're not in the Nut Hut, I don't know what you're doing. It's $20 a month, and it's an easy $20, okay? Because you will recoup it, I promise you. We got 2 more majors left. We got the FedEx playoffs. We got elevated events. You're just doing it wrong if you're not in there, mixing it up. We're having a great time. Also, we're going to have another special guest this week, Pat. Our friend AI is back. I've brought the Discord.
for this show.
For this show, I've brought the Discord
right.
AI bot back. He will be making an appearance very shortly, as we now have more Discord users getting in on the fun and helping our AI friend, conceptualize golfers in a new way. And we've got some more interesting ones to
I
show
saw
you.
more than just golfers last week. I can tell you
That
that
is true.
right
We
now.
did have a few others.
Saw some Muppets in there. I saw Elmo. I don't know how Elmo got involved, but I got involved with that too.
Elmo and Oakhill.
I had to ask somebody to do some things with Elmo. I didn't know that it was going to go that direction, but it was happening in there, and so I was like, you know what? Let's make Elmo do this, and that's what happened. Okay?
You never know where you're going to get in there. By the way, you know what we haven't talked about? Our boy John Sayer. Shout out to John Sayer. He's a wonderful Nut Hut Discord member because he is the props guy. He is like, if it's underdog or prize picks, John Sayer has it covered. Did you see what he crushed it on this week?
No, I can't imagine because he does a lot of different things.
Cornhole.
No, they don't do cornhole, do they? Really?
Yes, and Sayer is killing it. He's posted all these winning slips, dude. It's amazing. I mean, if it's so good. I love our community in there. It's great. Listen, Brooks wins a PGA. It feels like 3 months ago on this show, I said, man, it really feels like LIV has lost all their momentum. I said it. And hey, I've been okay with LIV since the jump, right?
Did you almost say you've been a live shill?
No, I didn't say no. I've not been a LIV shill.
I was wondering. I thought
No,
maybe you're
I've
about
made
to
fun of LIV. I've got TikToks and Instagram reels making fun of LIV. I've made fun of LIV on a LIV betting preview show that I did with Joe Idoni in the first event of the year. Like, I've made fun of it. There are things I like about it. There are things I don't like about it. But I'm not fully anti-LIV. I am anti-fragmented golf. And I am seeing the tide shift. But just 3 months ago, I said, it feels like they don't have any more momentum. It feels like they had momentum late in the fall. And then with that break and with all the attention, the elevated events and all this stuff on the PGA Tour is getting early in the year, it just feels like they had nothing. And then the Masters. And now this. I mean, do we think, and there's so many golf shows that you could go to talk about this and break this down, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time doing it, but I mean, this has got to change the OWGR, and at minimum, I feel like it's got to change the OWGR. Do you agree? Like, this has to be it.
Yes, I do agree. As a matter of fact, I think with the way the last 2 majors has gone, that it really has been just a super positive for LIV. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you look at what we had at the Masters with Phil Mickelson finishing up there, which was incredible. Patrick Reed finishing up there. You know, obviously Brooks Koepka was in contention. And then this week we get Brooks Koepka winning. So a LIV guy wins a major. But also the way it's felt during the tournament. Like, you just haven't felt a lot of animosity between the PGA Tour players and the LIV guys. There hasn't been a lot of drama other than what the media may put out there. And I'm starting to come around, DB. I'm coming around. Like, to the point where I'm like, for one, I think Brooks should be on the Ryder Cup team. I think that should happen. And I think the points, when you look at the points right now, is total BS. It really is. And I just don't like, we want to win this. The U.S. wants to win the Ryder Cup. And if you don't have the best players in the world on the team, it's a little bit of a joke. It really is. So anyway, I'm coming around to LIV, and I think a lot more people are. Now, the old head golf people, I wonder what they're thinking. Like, I would love to have, like, my dad on the show. And be like, Dad, you've been a golf fan forever, okay? You've been a golf fan forever, all right? You sat on whatever the bridge was on 15 at the Augusta National and hung your feet in the water back in the day when they were playing, all right? That's how long you've been a golf fan. That's awesome. You like to tell that story. You went over to Arnold Palmer's house that he was renting. You have that story. What about LIV now? What do you think? What about Brooks Koepka, the way he played, just dominating? Like, how can you deny it now? I would like to know what old man golf thinks. I really would.
Let's see if your dad will come on. I'm showing a picture here of our AI bot generated Brooks Koepka holding with a gold Wanamaker trophy. It appears the AI didn't get the silver memo, but this one's not bad. This one's actually not bad at all. But we'll get to some other interesting ones. Yeah, I mean, I played in my member this weekend, and this is a private club in Augusta, Georgia, just miles from the Augusta National. And I must have talked to, I don't know, like more 15, 20 guys. And, you know, they know what I do, and we're all watching the PGA Championship simultaneously while this is while our member's going on. And everybody's talking about Brooks. And LIV comes up, the Ryder Cup comes up, and none of them want to see any more separation. None of them want to see it. None of them are interested in bashing LIV. None of them are interested in any of that. They all just want all these guys to play together again. They don't care. And I don't know if I didn't poll any of them to see, like, did you originally care and now you don't? Or have you just always not cared? But it very much feels like the tide is turning here. And it's tough. And I'm wearing my Ryder Cup shirt. I'm wearing my Ryder Cup shirt because I want to talk about the Ryder Cup. I mean, you brought it up. Let's look at where the points stand today. So this is from our friend Nosferatu on Twitter at VC606. Does all the world golf stuff and anything. If it's got points in golf, he's keeping up with it. He's a great follow on Twitter. Highly recommend you do it. But here's where they currently stand. Brooks Koepka is number 2. I mean, this is all but locked territory. Brooks Koepka is at number 2. But I mean, further down the board, you can't. I don't think you can see it here. But Patrick Reed is down there, and Patrick Reed finished T4 at Augusta and T18 here at the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so I ask you, if you're talking about, I'm not talking about do you love Patrick Reed as a person, but if you're a U.S. Ryder Cup fan going to Rome, you and I were on the grounds in France when we saw how they set that golf course up. If you're going to Rome and you want the U.S. to win, let me ask you a question. Right now, you can only make the decision right now. Who would you rather have on that team? Patrick Reed or Kurt Kitayama.
Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed or Wyndham Clark.
Patrick Reed.
Now, those are the two guys that right now, if you throw Will Zalatoris out of there because he's not going to play, those are the two guys right now who would be 11 and 12 spot. And we know that typically the U.S. tends to just go right down the line, and those are the captain's picks, 7 through 12. Now, I'd rather have Tony Finau than any of them, and he's not technically in right now. But I mean, Chris Kirk is next. Harris English after that at 15 and 16. Now, Sahith Theegala is there at 17. I think I'd probably rather have Sahith as him being possibly the future. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would.
I mean, would you rather have? I mean, I'd rather have him over almost half the names beyond number 12 on this list. Taylor Moore, are you kidding? Tom Hoagie, I'd rather have Reed. I think I'd rather have Keegan and Sahith. I think I'd rather have Keegan, Sahith, and Finau outside of the top 12 right now. But that's it.
I would probably disagree and say just Sahith and Finau. I could probably take Reed over Keegan. But I'll say this about Keegan. It is close because Keegan is very much feels like a Ryder Cup
He's a
all-in USA guy.
Yeah.
So,
it's getting real sticky. Don't forget DJ and Bryson. Let's not forget DJ and Bryson and what those guys could potentially be doing in the next two majors. By the way, here's AI bot Patrick Reed. Young Patrick Reed. Look at that.
I don't know if we should do this.
Sorry. Here was the command. A young Patrick Reed in the style of the Garbage Pail Kids.
I just don't know if we should.
Look at this golf club too. The AI bot clearly does not. They don't get sports equipment too good. And look, I think that's a baseball on his hat. It did. Now, after the Ricky Fowler incident a couple weeks ago, you do have me looking at the fingers of all the AI generated people to make sure that there are five digits.
Can I get back to something real quick with Ryder Cup? Because I know what we're going to hear. People want the picks. I get it. All right. You can skip forward. There are a lot of ways to do this. All right. First off, Zach Johnson is in a very weird position as the captain of this team. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because for one, it's his first time being a captain. So he's not, he's doing this for the first time. And two, obviously, he's got the whole, more so than any other captain, he's got the whole LIV versus PGA Tour guys thing. I think Brooks is an easy decision.
Yeah.
And I think the other players are probably going to be one that you've got to massage a little bit. But then, if I don't know if Zach Johnson is an alpha. And I get and here's where I'm going with this, all right? You're going to have to make some pretty big balls decisions with this, especially because it's the PGA that runs the Ryder Cup, not the PGA Tour. What are they telling them? I feel like I heard, I could be wrong, an interview with Zach where he said that character has something to do with being part of the team. Okay? That to me is a subtle reference of a guy going to LIV, meaning you have poor character going to LIV, which I don't believe at all. I think that is a bunch of shit, to be honest.
He's preemptively planting that so that he can say, I told you.
Yes.
He wanted high character guys.
Well, and I don't think you can say that you have low character, because what's the opposite of high? Low. By going to LIV exclusively. You can't put that on every single guy. Now, there could be a low character guy that went to LIV. There could be. I don't know. I don't even think I'm in a position to be able to say you're high or low character.
There are low character guys on the LIV and the PGA Tour.
Both tours.
We know who they are.
So then why would you say that? So why that really got to me a little bit and actually angered me a little bit, because I was like, I don't know, if we get to Ryder Cup selection at the end of or whatever, end of August or into September when we're getting close to Ryder Cup selection, and I start hearing about character and best players in the world like Brooks Koepka not being on the team because of character, I'm gonna go ape shit. I'm sorry, I am. Because that's just not true. You
Let
can't say that.
so Dustin Johnson finishes 55th at the PGA. What did he do? I don't remember what he did at Augusta. Okay, finishes 48th in the Masters, okay? Does basically nothing on LIV until very recently. If you had to make the decision right now, before the US Open and the PGA, whether or not DJ plays, this is a guy who has tremendous Ryder Cup and President's Cup experience and record. Didn't he just go? I remember because it was a pre-tournament favorite for me for DJ to go undefeated at like 11-1, and he went 5-0. He won 5 points for the President's Cup team just last fall. So if you had to make that decision for DJ, because I think you're right, Brooks does seem to be the easy one. But if you had to make it for DJ right now, what do you do?
I mean, to me, I think you have DJ on the team.
So to not have him on the team for the US Open and the Open Championship, he would need to miss the cut in both of those. He would need to continue to just kind of look flat on LIV a little bit. Like, I'm guessing that's what you're saying. I mean, you just won, I know, a LIV event, but
I don't know if they pay attention much to LIV, to be honest, but I think they're going to definitely look at the majors. I do think you're going to have to show up in the majors a little bit, but DJ is one that, has obviously shown in Ryder Cups, the most recent one.
yeah.
I mean, what was he in that Ryder Cup? Like 4-0?
I was talking about the President's Cup. He was like 5-0. He won 5 points at the President's Cup.
Yeah, but then the Ryder Cup before that, he was also good, right?
Yeah, he's got a tremendous record in all the team events.
But if you just look at these guys, like, I mean, I get it. Like the top 10 in Ryder Cup standings, I'm okay with. But I mean, are you really taking Wyndham Clark over DJ and Kurt Kitayama and all of
those two are easy, but let me ask you this. I mean, because if you pull Finau in there, okay, now I would rather have Brooks Koepka and DJ over Cam Young right now, over the current Cam Young. I get Cam Young's prospect. I get we were all, salivating over what Cam Young was going to do this year. I get he had a tremendous year last year, and that's giving him a lot of points, but he's about to fall out of the locked up top 6, and he's about to have to be a captain's pick.
Well, we also got to take out Willie Z, because Willie Z is obviously not.
Take out Willie Z. But I mean, and even honestly, Sam Burns a little bit. Like, Burns is a killer, and I like Burns in match play situations. I just won 50-1 on him at match play anyway. But I do like Burns. But Cam Young would be the next man out for me, and I'd rather have both Koepka or DJ instead of him.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking up top there, I agree. I would have, to be honest, I'd rather have DJ over Sam Burns.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I mean, so we're kind of on the same page. This is going to get really, really interesting here.
Yeah.
Really, really interesting. All right. Let's see if we got any other AI things here. Oh yeah, this is John Rahm potentially holding the PGA Championship trophy, and I thought this one was funny because look at his. Is that his pinky finger? I don't know what happened on that one.
What happens to fingers?
It looks like a Vienna sausage, a small Vienna sausage.
What is the deal with fingers on this thing?
This looks like John Rahm's kid. This looks like what's his name? His firstborn.
He's got the frat boy wings coming out in the back.
This would be him in like 20 years. This is him.
Is that a thing though? Have we discovered something with the AI bot that if it gets really close to an actual, like, looking like the actual person, they throw a finger out here and there, like Ricky Fowler? They take a finger out, or make him a 3-fingered person, or they put a Vienna sausage.
Maybe that's why Ricky missed the cut. He's 3-finger Rick.
Yeah, or a Vienna sausage finger.
This was a great one. Somebody gave this command in the Nut Hut. I don't know who is responsible for this. Actually, the next couple, but someone just wanted to see Justin Rose as a 7-Eleven clerk.
First off, I don't
But
recall a 7-Eleven that looked like this, but
that looks just like Justin Rose. If he were a 7-Eleven clerk, I think he would
yeah.
look a little more worn. He looks a little angry. Like, I think that's one of the best, most accurate AI generated golfers we've seen yet. Who do we think this is here?
Well, that's got to be Phil Mickelson because he's sitting on a throne with a bunch of money everywhere.
Bunch of bills, looking like Floyd Mayweather. He's got a glass of rosé there, Pat. It looks a little fantasy golf sommelier like there for you.
How do you know it's rosé?
It just looks pink. I don't know.
Okay.
It just looks pink. And then finally, this one is really dumb. It doesn't look like him at all. But someone gave the command for HV3 to be the milkman based out of the state of Georgia. And I don't know why. That just seems random AF. But this is HV3 as a milkman. I mean, he's swole. I mean, my man is jacked right there. And HV is not jacked. I mean, no offense. Also,
Yeah.
there's a couple random pastries next to him that I don't know how those. I don't know how one of those is. I don't know. It's an interesting look, but AI continues to disappoint yet not disappoint. So, all right, that's long enough. Let's get into it. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about DraftKings. One thing that we did learn again, because we got to keep learning it. DFS is you got to keep learning stuff, right? You got to keep reminding yourself about some stuff. And I think we need to remind ourselves at the US Open. When you get one of these tough golf courses, tough conditions, high variance, and we talked about it last week. We talked about it. We talked about it on the chat extensively on Wednesday night. It makes sense to eat very little chalk, very little, and to play high upside pivots, okay? Because a lot of the chalk bombed. Now, unfortunately, our boy Joe Idoni, God love him. I mean, but listen, Joe Idoni crushing his exclusive top 20s, top 40s, head-to-heads exclusively in the Discord. Like I said, he's up 16 units on the season, crushing it. He took a bold call. He took a bold stand.
He did.
He could have chose Ricky Fowler. He could have chose Wyndham Clark. He could have chose Gary Woodland. As
Could have
cheap chalk.
chose John Rahm.
As cheap chalk, yeah.
I mean,
could have chose.
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
Could have chose Jan Rahm.
I said.
I know you did. You like Scheffler. I liked Rahm. Whatever. You're right.
Okay.
But he didn't. He chose Scheffler, and Scheffler finished his second. Scheffler was about the only chalk you would have done good eating. You would have done good fading a lot of it. So just remember that. When you get into these high variance situations, I think we got to keep that in mind. We could break down kind of some of those guys, but we need to move on. So 9K and above range, Colonial Country Club. We know what Colonial does. We know what Colonial asks. This is a long-running host site on the PGA Tour. Let's talk about the 9K and above range on DK. First, let's talk about where the chalk going to be. Where the chalk going to be? Uh-oh. Where the chalk going to be? It's going to be at Tommy Ladd at 9,200.
It is.
I think, and it'll be interesting to see Tommy Ladd versus Rose, because Rose has definitely been popular lately. Like he feels like people are, really, really like him. Now I say that he was still only like 9% of the PGA, and Tommy was probably way more. Tommy was 16 on average. So but Rose has all the history here, and Tommy just has that 1 year. So I don't know if that will bring them a little closer together, but nonetheless, they're both going to be popular. And if you were playing a cash game, 50-50, double up, I love both of them. From there, I think it's going to be Jordan Spieth. I think it's going to be Scotty Scheffler. I think it's going to be Hovland.
I think Hovland is going to jump up a ton in ownership this week. I really do. So I do think you're going to get some.
Unless enough of us touts kind of spin the the whole like, oh, he's going to be exhausted, like, emotionally, mentally from the PGA. Unless we spin that, and then we could be like,
if you want to spin it, you can. But I think you said something in our betting show that was very important and spot on. I'll give you credit for this.
Oh, wow.
He wants to win anything right now. Vic does.
Yeah.
He wants a win under his belt. It does not matter where, when, how it is. He wants to win. So I will play a chalky Vic, even if he is chalky.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what if he's right? What if he's twice the ownership of Tony Finau with all that history?
I don't know if that's going to happen. I think that's a little.
Yeah, it won't be. It won't be twice. But I do think Finau's an interesting option. He could be a
Yeah.
potentially interesting pivot with so much wanting. I mean, well, ultimately who's going to get squeezed out of here is Morikawa,
Morikawa. I was about to say Morikawa.
which I love. I played him last
Mhm.
week at the PGA. I told you my Morikawa spidey senses were going off a little bit, and he did okay. T26. The irons continue to be fantastic. We talked about him ad nauseum on the betting show. I won't go into it, but I really do like Morikawa this week a good bit. I'll happily take the leverage on him if it's given to me. I'm definitely monitoring everyone from Spieth up. Like, there's no one from Spieth up that I don't want. So, or that I would fade. So you can't play them all, but monitoring that ownership is going to be important as the week progresses. I think that means, I do think Morikawa will be the lower owned out of those, possibly Hovland. I mean Homa, but I don't know, maybe. I think we could probably both agree that Burns, Sung Jae, Chris Kirk, Siwoo Kim, those are the four left out that we've not discussed, and those guys will also be possibly low owned. Sung Jae may be forgiven for his sins of the PGA Championship when he, took off to South Korea to beat up on some fellow countrymen the week before playing the PGA, and then he sucked. I could see Sung Jae getting a little slide there, little forgiveness. I don't see a lot of people wanting to pay up for Siwoo and Kirk in the 9K range. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think Siwoo, I think, and Kirk, both of them, I think are going to be pretty low owned just because I agree. I don't think there's a lot of folks that are going to want to pay up, especially when I think there's so many people up in this range that you can go with, and even go with a couple guys and then go drop down to the low 7K range, which I really like. So I just don't see those two being ones that I'm going to go to. But I do think they're going to get low ownership. I think Sun JM's the interesting one for me. I mean, I feel like I really want to see where his ownership is after what happened last week. I don't think too many people are going to just jump off of him.
Right.
But if I do get like a low, like 10 to 15% owned Sung JM, I really like him on this golf course. It's a good fit for him. So I think that, I like that. Sam Burns, I just feel like I don't know. I don't know what to do with Sam Burns. I need a Ouija board or something.
I'm telling you, I
Like, what do I need?
tried to tell you last week. I'm out. He's not the same right now with the irons.
Yeah,
He's just not.
I agree.
Look at it. Look at his iron play leading up to his Charles Schwab victory last year. It is completely different than what he's doing right now in terms of consistency, in terms of peak weeks, in terms of the worst weeks that he's had. It's just not
So
fair.
funny that he beat Scheffler in the damn match play. Like, what the hell was that shit?
I mean, we say it every year at match play though. Match play is just different, right? Like, it's just
Yeah.
you're not playing the golf course. You're not playing. You're playing the guy in front of you, and that can be different.
But he had some good shots in the
He
match
did,
play.
yeah. I mean, you obviously can't, you can't lose 9 strokes on approach like you did at API and win the match play, but I'm not buying it. I don't. If Sam Burns is 5% owned, I still won't play him. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Well, anyway, so I'm kind of leaning in. I like Morikawa and DFS. I still like Vic, and I'll go with him even if he's high owned. And I'm fading Burns. So
I would actually pay up for Chris Kirk. I feel like it's not great. I mean, $9,100 Chris Kirk sounds like loof. But I mean, you kind of have to do that in weeks like this as we start getting down into the middle and the bottom end of this field. It's not as great. So paying up for a guy is kind of what you have to do. I kind of like him, and I think there's just some names here in the 8K range that I think are going to catch some steam, that are going to be popular. That if somebody doesn't start off, a lot of lineups are going to want to start off Scheffler and Spieth probably, and then they're going to jump straight to the 7K. But for those that don't, I think the 8K is going to be more popular than this than the Kirk Siwoo Kim range. And Kirk may give me some leverage. And I like Kirk for this golf course. I really do. Obviously, he's a past champion. He's played well here before, played well at the PGA last week. So I do like Chris Kirk. All right, let's move on to the 8K. Before we do, I want to remind everybody about Rainmakers, our friends at DraftKings doing their thing. The approach set, the last drop is happening. And also, you can start your PGA Tour collection and play free for $750,000 this season. Claim your free starter pack. Get in on the action with DraftKings Rainmakers and compete for prizes all season long. Spend just $5, and then you get a free booster pack, okay? It's fun. I actually went ahead and I got my Rainmakers stuff started. I opened up my first pack. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, okay. All right.
So open up a pack, and then I did this thing. What do they call it? Crash and burn or whatever. I did that today. Have you
I
crashed
think
and
it's
burned?
called Craft and Burn.
No, I think is it craft?
It's not Crash and Burn. Craft and Burn. It's like a they do that in Minecraft.
Are you sure? I don't know. All I know is I got to trade out 3 bad players.
How do I know this? You don't know this.
I don't know. I don't know. I got to trade out 3 bad players that I had on in my pack for 3 good players, and I'm excited. I'm playing in a single entry contest this week for the for the Charles Schwab. I'm pumped to kind of get to know Rainmakers and get going. So check it out. Give it a shot. Link in the description of the podcast here. You can like I said, spend $5, get a free booster pack, get your starter pack set up. It's great stuff.
Okay.
Enjoying the Rainmaker stuff. More Rainmakers content coming from Tour Junkies HQ too. I'll tell you that. All right, 8K range. Let's talk about it. The popular names that I was mentioning in the 8K range, I believe, are going to be Steven Yeager at 8,100, who continues to just play very, very well, very solid. Seems to have leveled up. Had another good week at the PGA. Why not Steven Yeager? I think it's going to be Cam Davis. And then I'm not sure. I think it's still going to be Ricky. Denny's always popular, but he's like, it may feel like he's underachieved here at Colonial for his skill set, I feel like. But I think it's going to be Ricky, Cam D. And I think those are the 2 reasons why I'll get some leverage on Chris Kirk, along with him being also right below Fleetwood and Rose. But that's what I think is going to happen in terms of the chalk. I think a cash play I think it's Ricky Fowler still. I think it could be Stefan Yeager. I think it would go as low as Yeager in cash if you needed to. I mean, Ricky, I'm not worried about Ricky. Like, missed the cut of the PGA by 1 shot. Like, that could have been freaking anything. A bad lie in the rough, a stupid bunker situation. I don't know. I didn't watch every shot, but I'm not really sweating the PGA miscut. He's continuing to play extremely well. I'm not worried about it. What do you think about the chalk and about a cash play?
Well, I definitely think Steven Yeager is going to be chalked, but I still don't mind playing him. I think Fowler is going to be a little bit chalky. I agree with you there.
I don't think people are going to jump off after riding him as hard as the DFS community's ridden him for a miscut on the number, where he still gained strokes tee to green.
No, I agree. I don't understand why you think Cam Davis is going to be chalked though.
Maybe Cam Davis is contest specific, because I think in your sharper contest, your higher dollar entries, maybe some larger single entries, 3 max entries, I think he could be. I think the DFS community as a the diehard DFS community just likes Cam Davis in general, and will be very happy to get back on him. But I mean, I guess going from 2% owned at the PGA to chalk might be a stretch. But I mean, he's definitely been bucking his head here. I mean, 6th at the Players, 7th at the Heritage, 4th at the PGA after battling some sort of undisclosed illness. God knows what it is, but some sort of illness that he talked about that he had for a long time, saying he didn't feel good. Now it seems like he feels good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the thing is I think that we've seen him, the last several tournaments, he's still low owned. The highest being Valero, where I think he was 12%. But other than that, he's been very low owned, and he's kind of been a streaky golfer in general. And we're getting him on the upside here and trending. So I do like him, even if he's a little bit chalky. Now, I don't know. That's relative to what you think. And I say you, meaning anybody listening that doesn't want to play what they may consider a chalky 8K guy. To me, if he's 10% or less, I like Cam Davis. I like Cam Davis, so I'm still going to play him. I think Steven Yeager and I think Ricky Fowler are going to be over 10%, actually.
Yeah.
So that's where kind of I fall there. If I'm looking at guys though in this range that I think are interesting that are not going to be chalky, one is a guy like Russell Henley, a great ball striker. Doesn't necessarily hit it very far. This is a good course fit for him. I think he could be interesting. I don't think he's going to be chalky at all. I think nobody's really going to play him.
No, I mean, I think somebody. I think he won't be chalky, but he'll get some play.
Yeah, I mean, he did miss the cut last week, but then you look at the last two events. I mean, T4 at the Masters and then a top 20 at the Heritage. So Russell Henley is one that I think you could look at here. I think the one that I'm going to fade though, and I don't know if he'll be chalky, but everybody loves some Minwoo Lee right now. Everybody, and I like him. I think he's great for the game. He's got a sister who's a fantastic, world class, elite golfer. He's just seems like a great personality. He's got all the talent in the world. He's coming off of a top 20 at the PGA where he kind of crept up there in the top 10 for a little bit, then fell back a little bit. But Minwoo is somebody, and I've been high on Minwoo. I've talked about him a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think he's quite there yet. He just got his status, like this conditional status or whatever they call it, temporary status on the PGA Tour. We saw that with Tom Kim last year, and then he goes on to win. I don't think Minwoo has reached Tom Kim, territory. So I'm going to cool the jets on Minwoo and just and not play him this week. And I don't know if he'll have that high ownership anyway. I don't know. We'll see. But
Yeah, I'm not interested in Minwoo either. Until we see any sort of iron play out of him, it's really tough. One question we get, I think, every week at some point, either in the comments or live or in a chat or on Discord or whatever, is like, can I start a lineup in the 8K range and be different? This week, I would say you could, but you probably shouldn't. I think there's enough question marks in the 8K, and you're leaving too much upside in the 9K to be able to do that. So I don't think that's possible. I do think.
Well, define that a little bit. What does that mean? If you start an 8K range, so if somebody's saying I'm going to start in the 8K range, that means they're neglecting something.
I guess what I'm talking
about. What are they neglecting?
I guess what I'm talking about is their highest price player being in the 8K. I don't think you can do that.
I don't think you can.
I think you need to have some of these guys up here. Now, obviously, if you don't start Scotty Scheffler and Jordan Spieth, you're probably doing okay to start. I don't think you can ignore the 9K and above and be like that wild. I mean, there's no wind projected here. So we're gonna get some level of predictability at Colonial. At Colonial, like unlike last week at Oak Hill. So I think just know that going in. I one of the leverage plays for me that I'm already thinking about right now is KH Lee. KH quietly doing some damage off the tee. Like look at his total strokes gained off the tee since he got on tour, and look at his last 5 tournaments. Like he's clicking right now off the tee. Do the same thing and look at his approach play. Do the same thing and look at his putting. Like everything right now, except his around the green play, which may just be because he's hitting more greens in regulation, he's having less opportunities. It may just be that. But he's clicking at the moment. And he feels like a guy who, I mean, we know he's a 2-time winner in Texas. Like this isn't Colonial's a different golf course than Craig Ranch for sure. But he's he has high upside possibility. Just finished 8th at the Wells Fargo in an elevated event. Like I think KH Lee is a possible, very nice leverage play.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm with you there.
Okay, let's move on to the 7K range. Before we do, want to remind you about our friends at Front Nine Coffee. Good jitters for the early birds. Front9coffee.com. Front the number 9 coffee.com. People who love golf, love coffee, love the Tour Junkies, love our listeners. They've been supporting the Tour Junkies now for over a year. Great startup business, kind of small business here in Augusta, Georgia that you can support because when you order and you use promo code TJ10, you get 10% off your entire order, and you can use that code over and over again. Keep coming back, saving the 10%. They've got the whole bean. They've got the ground coffee. They now have K-Cups. I have my own blend. Pat has his own blend. Shop those. They're delicious. Front Nine Coffee, you order it, they roast it after you order it. It's delivered fresh to your door anywhere in the U.S., and they're just good people, and you're supporting a good company. So check out front9coffee.com. Promo code TJ10 gets you 10% off any and every order there. As we do every week now on the DFS show, I do want to share my screen and take a look at some quick early leans over on Underdog, our friends at Underdog. And I think, Pat, right now for the Thursday round 1 pick 'em, I think they're too low on some really good players in the birdie or better situation. Like I said,
I
no
agree.
wind projected, no wind, very little wind. I mean, there are gettable holes here. There are, it's not like there's like super long, a bunch of long par fours. There's not a whole lot of those. There's some par threes that have some teeth. You got the horrible horseshoe, Hogan's horseshoe, or whatever the hell it's called. I don't know. You got
Well, I mean, the first 2 holes are literally
easy.
birdie holes. I mean, number 1 is got like a 50% birdie rate. So
Yeah,
you're already right off the bat. Like if you don't birdie number 1,
you're screwed.
you are ticked off. You're
Mhm.
ticked off.
But they got these guys at 3.5 birdies, and I think it's too low. Ricky Fowler, Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose, Sung J M. And then at 4 birdies, I mean, you take your pick. So I think it's higher on all those. But then at 4 birdies, you have Jordan Spieth. I think it's between Jordan Spieth, Victor Hovland, and Tony Finau. Like, which one would you prefer to
Mm.
take over 4 birdies? You might have some push equity there with the 4 even. But if you put one of those at 4 birdies with Sungjae, Rose, Fleetwood, and Fowler at 3.5, all at 3.5, and they all hit over, that's a 20x return.
Yeah.
Um, and I would probably do I always
I
do
think
the
for me too, if you know this better than I do, but I feel like I'm just sticking to birdies.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna worry about the score. I just want
Yep.
birdies. I don't care.
Yeah, there will be birdies to be had there at Colonial. And again, join Underdog. You've got the link in the description there. Use promo code Junkies and get a 100% deposit match up to $100, as well as take advantage of those lines right there. Get it done. And there's plenty of states where that is available. If you're on YouTube, you can see right now where Pick'em is available in yellow. So most of the states in the U.S., Pick'em is available. So check it out. All right. 7K range, early leans, some cash, some chalk, all that good stuff. Chalk. Are people going to be like, I don't know. I have some questions about the chalk in this range. I don't know that I have this one fully figured out. Are people going to be really giddy to play my boy Kitayama after his week last week?
I don't think they are.
Okay. So 7,900. I mean,
I
obviously
don't
he's at
think
the
he'll be
top of the
chalky.
price. Huh?
I don't think he'll be chalky.
Okay. So here's a name I think will be chalky. I've already bet him. I mean, he was 150 to 1 in the first look show this morning, but I mean, I think he's a steal there. He almost won just a couple weeks ago, and we know we're all going to hear about him. He almost won the Byron Nelson. I mean, he had a chance to win the Byron Nelson. He didn't almost win. He had a great chance. I think he was in the last group on Sunday. He's playing well. Brian Palmer, the Prince of Colonial Country Club member, doing his thing. Great record here at the Charles Schwab. Tons of top 10s, top 5s over his career. 70 what, $200? Does that feel like it? I mean, he's going to be over 10%, don't you think?
Yeah, I think he will be.
So I think Palmer will be, but I would play him in cash. I feel that good about
I
Ryan
don't
Palmer,
mind him in cash. Yeah.
which is crazy to say, but I would. Other potential chalk names could be Eric Cole at 7,200 right there
That
with
was going to
Palmer.
be my next one.
Like I could see those guys getting in a lot of Spieth Scheffler lineups.
The thing I like about the 7K range and where it just is, for some reason, just more interesting than I've seen in a while is I don't see a whole lot of chalk here. I really don't. Like, I think Palmer and I think Cole. I'm just looking at names that are guys that I think that, I know people are going to go like gravitate to immediately. And there's not many in here that like really like if you're screaming cash play or chalk or whatever, there's a lot of guys that I just don't see as being that chalky.
Yeah, I agree. Another one down there at 7,300 we talked about on the betting show that I love is Hayden Buckley, but I think he could get
He
some
won't
love.
be chalky. I don't think he'll be chalky
You don't
though.
think he will be?
Mm-mm.
I mean, I could see him potentially getting to like 8 or 9%, which isn't crazy.
No, but my favorite guys in here I don't think at all are chalky. Seabez, it's 7,700. I don't think he's going to be
People
chalky.
like Seabez. I think Seabez could get a little love.
Uh,
Maybe not. I don't know. He's so I don't know. The irons are incredible right now.
I
I mean,
mean,
God, look at his iron performances, the players.
it's good. It's
I
good.
mean,
Look at the bottom of this range, though,
and
DV.
that includes that includes the heritage too. What? What are you
The
saying?
bottom of this range, though. Will Gordon,
I
7,000.
don't
Sepp
like it.
Straka, 7,000. Vincent Norman, 7,000.
Norman, I kind of
Great
like.
play. Will
Strock.
Gordon, how do you not like Will Gordon?
I don't like Will Gordon. I don't like how he's hitting it right now. I think he also just sucked at this U.S. Open qualifier
No,
too.
I thought he was up there. I thought he almost made it.
Will Gordon, no,
No, hang on. I'm gonna
no, he's way down the list. By the way, we talked about the U.S. Open qualifier on the betting show, but long story short, they played a lot of these guys played a 36 hole Monday U.S. Open qualifier in Dallas.
maybe I'm. Oh.
We'll talk about one name here in particular that crushed it. I don't even see Will Gordon now, but he did play in it. Where is he? Small Daddy didn't do very well.
He was terrible.
Oh, Small Daddy. Gosh dang it, man.
I thought
My boy Norlander didn't get in there either. Oh, Will Gordon. He shot 4 under, so he missed it by 4.
Okay. Well, not terrible.
Whatever. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I do think this 7K range is interesting. I don't think that we're going to see a whole lot of chalk in here for sure. So a lot of ways you can differentiate your lineup this week in the 7K range.
I think Sam Stevens is going to continue to be popular.
Yeah,
got into the PGA. Yep, got into the PGA last minute. But I'm not afraid to. I mean, Matt Naismith seems to kind of turn his ball striking back around here lately. I think Naismith could be interesting. I've been riding Bramlett a lot this year. This isn't probably a perfect course for Bramlett, but if Kokrak kind of gave a blueprint for a bomber winning here, I could see Bramlett having some success.
Are you going to play some Bo Hostler?
I don't mind. I normally can't stand Bo Hostler, but I refuse to play an overpriced, chalky Bo Hostler. So I don't think he's necessarily overpriced in this field. He is playing better, it seems. If he's not popular, I don't hate it. Like if Buckley and Palmer and Cole just eat it all up right there, and Hostler's kind of nothing, I don't hate that. I don't love the middle here. Like Smalley and Grillo. I'm interested. I might go back to Grillo. You talked me into him late in the Nut Hut chat on Wednesday night, and then he freaking sucked. But
I mean, you can blame me all you want. I played him too, so it's not like it's we were joint in this.
Then he actually turned it around, like round 2. I mean, round 1, he shot 8 over.
He was playing well to start off, wasn't he? Like 2 under.
Yeah, he was good to start, and then. But round 2, he gained strokes on approach, around the green, and putting. But round 1, he lost.
Always gained strokes on approach.
He did not on round 1. On round 1, he lost almost 3 shots in just round 1. But I mean, that can happen, right? Like that can happen at a PGA like Oak Hill, set up like Oak Hill. So I think Grillo's an interesting look because he's got a good record here. Before that, everybody loved him. Like he was checking all these boxes. He's playing well, 23rd at Wells Fargo, 5th at Mexico, 7th at the Heritage, like playing really well. I mean, those strokes honestly could have been lost in 1 2 shots. To 1 or 2 bad lies. I think Grillo is going to be an interesting test in ownership. Just kind of see if people are wanting to go back or able to go back. I think the Todd Father and Ben On up there at 78, 7,900 are both interesting to me. Both do golf very differently, but I think both could get it done here. That's the beauty of Colonial. I mean, the beauty of Colonial is so many different skill sets can do well here. You don't have to eat like the chalk because it's the one guy at that price point that does what you need to succeed. Like anybody could really, the short hitters, the long hitters, like it could all be done here. We've seen good putters win here. We've seen bad putters play well here. Hello, Jason Kokrak is a bad putter. So it can happen. So I think we definitely, we got it. We can't be afraid to kind of pivot down here in the 7K range. But all right, let's move on. Let's do our 6K draft and get out of here. How about it?
Sounds good. We did okay last week.
We did good. We got back on
it was very much a team effort last week, I thought.
Yeah, because we had only 2 missed cuts out of the 6 guys drafted. One was yours, Matt Kuchar. One was mine, Thorbjorn Olesen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Straka at T7 and HV3 at T29. I had Eric Cole at T15 and Buckley at T26. So, I mean, dude, 4 top 30s out of the 6K range.
I mean, that's pretty good.
It's pretty freaking good.
Let's think about that a little bit. We're taking 6K guys, and 4 were in the top 30.
Yeah, we gave you 6, and 4 were in the top 30.
Pretty damn good.
Let's get into it this week, buddy. I like some guys here. I'm gonna have to make some decisions here. I'll let you start. You go.
All right. Well, I will start with one of my favorite guys in here. Fantastic ball striker. He's been playing great all year long. Well, I say all year, but recently for sure. Almost won a few weeks ago in Mexico. Was in contention. Akshay Bhatia at 6,700.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna go Nate Lashley. I'm buying the Nate Lashley stock. Maybe it's the beers we shared at the Wells Fargo. I don't know, but I mean, the dude's popping right now on approach. I think the only reason he's losing some shots off the tee is he's not very long off the tee, but that's not going to hurt him here. He's putting nicely. He's got experience here at Charles Schwab. He's 6,900. I like Nasty Nate to do his thing.
Okay. I don't mind it at all. All right. Well, I will go with a guy that I've really kind of talked up a lot this year. He's cooled off a little bit in the last few weeks, but I'm going to go back to Ben Martin at 6,800. I think this is a good course fit for him. When you look at the stats, I mean, the guy's a top 30 in the world ball striker, approach, off the tee, putting, everything for Ben Martin. So I'm going to go with Ben Martin at 6,800.
How are we not going to play Dylan Wu?
Got to. Yeah.
And I mean, Dylan Wu, Dylan Wu will be a popular name down here, I believe. Yes, he missed the cut at the AT&T Byron Nelson. I don't have it in front of me, but I bet he missed it maybe on the number because the only category he lost strokes in was off the tee. But he gained everywhere else again. And before that, he had not missed a cut since Torrey Pines. I mean, like, Dylan Wu's been playing very good golf. I'm not going to be thrown off by one round at the AT&T Byron Nelson. Again, he could be chalk in the 6K range, and that might look like 7 or 8%. But he's just a name you need to be paying attention to.
Yeah, I like that one. All right, well, then I'm going to go down to 6,600 and Mark Hubbard. I just think, I mean, look at him. The guy's just making a ton of cuts. I mean, I'm just looking at his last 4 with 2 top 20s in there, a top 30 in there. Made the cut barely, but had almost a dead last. I guess it was dead last, I think. But Mark Hubbard, I like at 6,600. So there you go.
By the way, we just dropped our interview with Mark Hubbard. That did take place a while ago, but we just dropped it on YouTube. So check it out if you've not paid attention. It was a great interview. Mark's very funny. He was an open book. We had a great conversation with Mark. Really good. All right. Well, the last one is going to be popular. So be prepared. But again, you need to be aware. Carson Young from Anderson, South Carolina, the best mustache coming out of Anderson, just qualified for the U.S. Open in this U.S. Open 36-hole marathon day in Dallas, where he shot 16 under to beat everybody by at least 5, beat Austin Eckroat by 5. He shot a 63, and then he set the course record, new course record with a 62. The dude literally shot a 63, had lunch, probably took a dump, and then shot a 62 course record. Like,
pretty good.
Geez, man. Did you leave any birdies for the rest of them? But also, if you're like, oh, DB, I mean, that's just a Monday qualifier or a U.S. Open qualifier at some weird course in Dallas. Well, he's got 3 top 20s in his last 4 starts, including the Byron Nelson in Texas down the street, the Mexico Open at Vedanta, and the RBC Heritage, which was an elevated event. He's gaining strokes off the tee. He's gaining strokes on approach. He's gaining strokes putting. Like, the kid's got some chops. 29th at the Honda on a tough golf course that didn't require a lot of distance. I mean, it's not like he's short, though, either. Like, Carson Young at 6,300 is a serious value. Now, I think a lot of lineups might start Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, Carson Young. So just know, like, he's going to be a popular play. But if you want to, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, just be aware of that. I think he will not go unnoticed. Now, if he gets too high, everybody will jump off. So just be aware of that. But that's the 6K draft. All right. That's it for the Charles Schwab Challenge. We'll be back next week. Got a great elevated event. It's the Memorial from Muirfield Village, Jack's Place. It's going to be a good time. But I'm excited about this week. I love the golf course. I love Colonial. Good field. It's going to be nice. U.S. Open's going to be here before we know it. Had a great PGA Championship. Pat, enjoyed the show. Let's have a great week. May your screens be green. See ya. Out.